Fuel and transportation are intricately linked, as fuel plays a vital role in powering the movement of people, goods and services from one place to another. Now, with the removal of subsidy on petrol known as premium motor spirit in May last year, the price of a litre has risen with attendant consequences on cost of transportation and goods. To address the problem, President Bola Tinubu set up the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas (CNG) in Nigeria to provide relief to Nigerians from the hardship caused by the fuel subsidy removal policy. And so, on this edition of Frontiers, the compressed natural gas option as a cheaper and cleaner alternative to PMS is the focus. I am Frama Panyi. Thanks for joining us. Our guest is Dr. Mohammed Bawa, a compressed natural gas expert whose company is partnering with the federal government to actualize the initiative. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
We will take an excerpt on federal government's efforts to achieve the CNG project.
Promised and delivered. That symbolizes the handover of CNG buses to representatives of Labour and Students' Union. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, reiterates government's commitment to ensure the availability of CNG buses to not only Nigerian workers but to other members of the public. Beyond implementing the policy on transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy, bringing down cost of transportation and enhancing energy competitiveness are other benefits the minister cited.
Over $175 million worth of investment has gone into this sector already. We expect to see more of that. Nigerians expect to go in. More and more Nigerians, technicians especially, are being trained. So it's a whole gamut of arrangement that will benefit all spheres of all sectors of this country. All Nigerians will be felt. This is beginning from those who need the most, the working class. The working class are going to get this. But beyond that, other Nigerians are also going to be the market people. Everyone, artisans, everybody will now feel this impact.
The promise he made when campaigning, when president-elect, and indeed he is keeping as president, is to intervene on the side of the poor and the most vulnerable in the aftermath of what we all knew were necessary macroeconomic reforms to set the country on the path of economic stability that would allow investment, that would increase productivity, grow the economy, create jobs, and achieve his overall aim for Nigerians, a better life, reduction of poverty.
Mr. President is leading us to do what is sensible. What you are blessed with, what is cheaper, use it. Any mechanical device, motor, generator, irrigation facility that uses petrol can run on CNG. So this is a sensible transition that is led by Mr. President. We have talked about it for decades, but Mr. President is saying, let's do it.
Representatives of the union expressed satisfaction over various endeavors by government to cushion the plight of Nigerians occasioned by global economic challenges.
This step forward brings us closer to a future where both workers and the planet benefit from such forward-thinking policies, which is commendable.
We are happy that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has kept to his promise.
I want to believe that it's just the takeoff, that clearly we will get more buses.
Once more, welcome on Frontiers. Let's begin the program like this now. The federal government CNG program, is primarily aimed at promoting the use of a cleaner cheaper, safer alternative to petrol. Now, the worry is the cost of conversion. Why is it so high?
It is high because, unfortunately, most of the or all the components that we use are imported. But also, it's a one-time installation.
Okay.
That once you do it, it's for a lifetime. So it doesn't come cheap. However, to mitigate that, we have some payment plans. The federal government launched a platform where you can get converted and pay later via doing instrumental payments.
Okay.
So there are a lot of payment platforms that are being put in place to mitigate the impact of the cost of conversion.
Okay. Another bother is the fact that these vehicles are not originally built to run on CNG. Will the conversion have any effect on the vehicles? Long term, short term?
They will have positive effect on the vehicles.
Okay.
Because CNG is a cleaner gas compared to petrol. It has no residuals. So lifespan of the vehicle is even increased. Your servicing of the vehicles between use is reduced. What I mean here is if you are used to servicing your vehicle 4 or 5 times a year, with you using CNG, it will come down to maybe 1 or 2 times in a year.
Wow.
Because there is very little carbon emission. There is no residual parts. So your plugs, your engine oil are suffering less. So as I said, it gives your vehicle more life. So there is an effect, but a positive one.
Okay. All right. Now, considering the fact that gas is highly combustible, what are the safety considerations for CNG handling and transportation?
Not every gas is highly combustible.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when you say gas is highly combustible, you are referring to cooking gas, LPG, which is the normal gas that we all know.
Okay.
But when it comes to natural gas and compressed natural gas for that matter, the flash point, the point at which it becomes, it can combust, is something that can only be experienced in the laboratory. It's 600 degrees Celsius to get CNG to catch fire. So it's not that combustible.
Okay. All right. Now let me take you back to the earlier question. I had asked you why the cost of conversion is so high, and you said because we import the goods we use to convert, and possibility of these products being manufactured in this country. Yes.
What Mr. President has done immediately after the subsidy removal was done was to create a presidential committee on CNG initiative. And of course, one of their missions is to ensure that CNG is available, encourage people to convert to CNG, to make the CNG kits available, and create the awareness for people to know the benefits of CNG.
Okay.
Together with a lot of government bodies and private sector people, these kits are being, at the moment as we speak, being looked into to see how they can be assembled or built here in Nigeria.
Okay.
The cylinder, for example, which is a big component, almost like 50% of the kits, is being looked at the moment to be built in Abuja,
okay,
by the Abuja Steel Complex. The kit itself, I know for a fact that NASENI, which is a federal government body, has already looked at the kits and have tried to do some reverse engineering to see how they can get some of these components to be made locally. And of course, they will start maybe 5% of the components, and they will grow within a period of some years. We'll have a large chunk of the components to be locally made.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, the plans, are on the way for these kits to be produced here in Nigeria using our local materials.
That is correct.
Very interesting.
As much as possible. We may not be 100%, but we will get to reduce the cost by doing them locally, and also have our technology improved, get work for jobs for the
create job opportunities,
and to have even the expertise on the repairs and all that will increase when you start making locally.
Okay, quite impressive, I must say. Dr. We'll pause here, take a short break. We will be back. You're watching Frontiers. We will take a break now. The conversation continues shortly. Now, before we went on break, we were talking about, the process, about how this kit will be produced locally here in Nigeria. Now, CNG refill points are very few in the Federal Capital Territory, and same in the cases of some parts of the country. What efforts are being put in place to open up more points, especially as federal government is encouraging people to convert their vehicles?
Right. They say a trip of 1,000 miles starts with the first by one step. As it is at the moment, for the normal petrol and gas, they are abound all over the place. CNG is just starting. So, like you rightly said, the infrastructure is not there as we would want, but gradually it's increasing. This time last year, there was only one.
Okay.
Now I believe here in FCT, there was only one. Now there's 7 of them for refilling. For conversion, this time last year, there was about 7. Now there's over 200 conversion centers.
Wow.
So we're getting there. And what the PCNGI is trying to do is to even ramp up the speed at which we get there. And hopefully by this time next year, in fact, by first quarter next year, you will see some improvement in the number of stations that are available. The main focus now is to get the existing filling stations to key in to this project so that they can just convert 1 or 2 of their pumps to become CNG dispensers, so that they can be able to dispense CNG in their existing filling stations.
Okay. Now, what are the investment or the requirements for CNG infrastructure development?
Huge. Huge, but like I said, it's a one-time investment. Then, of course, servicing of the investment needs to be there. But it's I mean, like any oil and gas related product, there is some capital investment that needs to be done.
Okay.
Once again, I will say PCNGI is there doing the initiative and encouraging banks to work with private sector to put this infrastructure in place. So there are people who are keen into that, to the different value chains that exist in the CNG market, and they are being put in place. And once again, I will say by first quarter next year, you will see that the availability and the acceptability of CNG would have increased.
I'm talking about the acceptability of this initiative. What efforts are being made or put in place to create awareness and sensitization about this conversion generally?
I would say even this meeting that we're doing is one of the means of creating awareness.
Okay.
There is quite a bit of awareness being created.
Okay.
Also, there's a lot of human capital development being done. We have a lot of training centers now coming up, and a lot of training is going on, because no matter how much infrastructure you put into place, without the people, trained people to run the whole affairs, it won't be a success. So we are working on both ends, putting in infrastructure and also training the people to do the work.
Now, talking about regulations and standards that govern CNG production and transportation in use in Nigeria. Do we have them in the country?
For the equipment, for the kits itself, they all have to meet SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, parameters. For the combustion centers, you have to meet NADDC specifications. NADDC is a National Automotive Design Development Council.
Okay.
And for the gas availability and structure, of course, NMDPRA is there. So there are structures in place to ensure that compliance and standards and quality are kept in place. And of course, again, PCNGI is there to ensure that everything is done harmoniously.
Okay. Now, if I want to convert my vehicle, we've spoken about the payment plans and all that. Where do I go to? Who do I meet? What is the process? And of course, what is the requirement for me to be able to access this payment plan?
For the payment plan, you need to go online.
Okay.
And you can access the federal government payment structure. There's a website to that effect. I will give you the information. I don't have it offered.
Okay.
You go online and you can apply for that.
Okay.
Then with the combustion centers, like ourselves, for example, we have our own payment plans also that we've done with our banks.
Okay.
And so there are many platforms where you can access payment plans. Okay. You asked also that what's the process you go for conversion.
Yes.
In Abuja alone, I believe there's about 40 conversion centers. You can walk into any of the conversion centers for them to do a pre-installation assessment. So there's an inspection that is done.
Okay.
That inspection will now determine what kind of kits you need. Of course, it's determined by how many plugs your car is, whether it's a 4-plug engine, a 6-plug engine, a V8, and then the space that you have for the cylinder for storage is also assessed, and then whether the engine is an injector or a carburetor or GDI. There are processes that will be done. All these things I'm saying is something that any of the conversion centers can do within 15-20 minutes.
Wow.
To assess and know what you require. Based on that, you will now be given a bill of how much it will cost you to do the conversion. A conversion takes minimum of 5 hours to do. But don't forget, it's like you have said, it's a retrofit. It's an installation that you do once for lifetime. So 5 hours for me is not a big deal. Within the minimum of 5 hours, a vehicle can be converted, and it becomes almost as good as a factory fitted system. So
immediately it is roadworthy.
Immediately after conversion, they will go and fill up with gas. Some tests are done, certified. Once it's certified, it is immediately roadworthy. You can start. Yeah, in Abuja, it is immediately roadworthy, and you can start enjoying the benefits of CNG.
Okay, spare us some of these locations that we can find these conversion centers.
Many ABG CNG, owned by ABG Oil and Gas, has a center at Dawaki.
Okay.
We have one again at Avdin Filling Station in Katampe. We have another one at Mararaba. And we're in discussion to get 4 more here in Abuja.
Wow.
Outside of Abuja, we have 2 in Kaduna. We have 1 in Kano. And recently, we just launched last week, 1 in Ado Ekiti.
Wow, congratulations there.
Thank you.
Now, how does CNG align with Nigeria's climate change and by extension, global emission reduction goals?
Good question. Like we've said from the beginning, CNG is a cleaner means of fueling. Carbon emission is by far less than what you get from your other fossil fuels, petrol or gas, diesel. So it is more environmentally friendly. It helps tremendously towards reducing the greenhouse effect. And as I speak with you, I'm already filing to see how we can start working on getting carbon credits for reducing the gas emission that is obtained, especially with the diesel as against the natural gas. my car, for example, you switch to CNG, you can tell from the silencer of the vehicle, you will see how clean it burns. Switch back to petrol, and you will see.
Okay, so you could actually use it as petrol and as.
Yes, it's actually, for me, I keep saying it's an addition to your petrol engine. So your petrol stays, and then you have a CNG also. So whenever you are in a place where there is no gas, you can switch CNG, you can switch to petrol, and whenever you are in places where you feel you should operate on natural gas, you switch back to natural gas. Just a switch. And you can do that switch as you are driving. You don't have to stop to do the switching. It's a very smooth change between PMS to CNG.
Wow, quite interesting. Dr. Mohammed Bawa, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for coming on the program Frontiers and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
We have been looking at the compressed natural gas option as a cheaper and cleaner alternative to premium motor spirit, that is fuel. Our guest has been Dr. Mohammed Bawa, a compressed natural gas expert. Thank you for watching. I am Frama Panyi.